Remember the whole taich of Ata Hashem levadecha, the diak there, Atosis, the Shemayim Esoretz, and then Ortz v'chosha aleha, and then the hemshech of Matzasi es levavi nemo lefanecha, and then the hemshech v'chodesim yabris. Okay, if you remember, good. It would be a big pity not to say it every single day of your life. We had beautiful beer of how that is a hachana for Kriya Shema. Yichud Ilo, Yichud Tata, the chibur of Yichud Ilo, Yichud Tata, how that was embodied in the Avodah of Avraham, which is the way to which to conquer the Shiva Amamin, which all leads to the Parsha Rishon of Kriya Shema. Do you remember ha'tchek Shema Yisrael also? Usually in Tanya, Shema Yisrael is Yichud Ilo, Baruch Hashem is Yichud Zeta. But here in this Maimer, the previous Maimer, he explained it in Shema Yisrael itself, that Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu, the diak and Shema, not Melosh and Shmiya so much, but by Yisham Hashol, that's Yichud Tata, and Hashem Echad is Yichud Ilo. We have to, that's all Pasha Rishona. Pasha Shniya is Avodah, that's the Avodah against Amalek. We all have that. I didn't explain it. I'm not going to repeat the Maimer. We all have that. It's if not to revisit the Maimer, again, it's a pity. Aside from we learned the Maimer, we should remember it, we should know it. But there's so much to carry in our daily davening. Likewise, this Maimer, which is explaining now the whole Avodah, will continue, of the Srofim, the Yifanim. Namely, so we're halfway through Eis Dalet, almost, halfway. But let's just review. So what, maybe you can help me here. So first of all, the Srofim say Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. And the Eifanim are called Eifani HaKodesh. So he explained the difference. Yeah, so the word Machlal Kodesh, holy, in translation, the word Kodesh means removed, set aside, set apart. Set apart. Fascinatingly, a Kadesha, a harlot, it's called a Kadesha. Set apart and designated. Apart from what? From family life, from the way intimacy should be. And probably other explanations too. She's like designated for this person and that person, not exactly, but it's called a Kadesha. It definitely means separate and apart. So the Yifanim are called Yifani Chayis HaKodesh, without a vav, and the Srofim say Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh with a vav. So first of all, the fact that they say Kodesh, okay, so first of all, he said with a vav. What's the difference? Kodesh without a vav means that's the true Mila Begarmei that the Zohar says, that Kodesh is something, Mila means something, or a matter on its own. That's true of the word Kodesh, when the word Kodesh appears in Torah without a vav. But with a vav, it's already implying some kind of what? Kodesh with a vav is implying Kodesh with a vav. Lower than Kodesh without a vav. The Srafim say Kodesh. The Yifanim are Kodesh. So the difference between Kodesh and Kodesh is, you can look at the top of Kuf Lamed Vav. What you said so before, Kodesh without a Vav is fundamentally separate. Kodesh with a Vav is always Hamshacha. Vav always implies coming down. So the Madrege of Kodesh is lower than the Madrege of Kodesh. Kodesh is fundamentally separate. Kodesh is relatively separate. Relatively separate. If it's relatively separate or removed, it means there's a shaykhis. There's beyond, and there's beyond. Beyond means a shaykhis. You're saying it's beyond this, so it's a shaykhis. Beyond means it's beyond being high. It's beyond higher than you. It's not just higher than you. It's a different realm. That's between Kodesh and Kodesh, no? So now he's explaining the whole Avodah here of the Malachim and of the Ifanim and the Serafim. He continues. What do the Serafim say? Kodesh, 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 Havai Tzvakos, right? So what are they saying? The Eibush is removed from them. And what Darga is removed from them? Even the Darga, it goes together. The removed Eibush that they speak of is a Darga that the Chatchila has a Shaykhis, and that's removed also. That's the level they're relating to, in some way. They're relating to the level of a likus that's beyond creation. Fine. As opposed to being an atzmi of a likus. It's not, God's not defined as beyond creation. So the Hafanim don't say Kodesh. What do they say? They say Baruch Kvei Davayim Koimai. So they're saying they're being mamshich, the opposite of Kodesh. Baruch means drawing down. So they're connecting and drawing down. And the Serafim, they declare the Eibush is Kodesh, Eibush is removed. Aleph and Beis, what Darga? Even that Darga is a Darga. The two things go together because Taka the Darga is Sev of Kalam is removed. So that's Musa, it's Musa, can be Nimshach Lamata. I mean, he doesn't use the word Atzmusa because that's a little, but that's the inyan. The Atzmis Dika Dargas can be Nimshach Lamata. But Kodesh cannot be. Sovev remains Sovev. Infinite is infinite. Beyond infinite can be Nimshach Lamata. Is that clear? Infinite cannot be Nimshach Lamata. So the Shaila was, how could that be? Since they have, so Baruch Hashem, it says elsewhere, so this maybe later he'll say, the Dikmim Koimai, from his place, no definition. Mamish, David himself, and as it were, this Darge Baruch de being Mamshech. Mim Koimai, from his place. So the Serafim is Kodesh. Havai Tzvakos, they've got Darges and they're identifying. They find him don't say what Darge, Mim Koimai. And yet Mim Koimai is Baruch, is Nimshach Lamata. How could this possibly be? Just finished explaining at length that the Serafim is his Bonanus, his Chabad and Chagas. And they found in the Avodas which Dargas of the parallel Dargas of the Nefesh. Which parallel Dargas of the Nefesh would be the Ifanim? What are they employing? Or what defines them? Huh? Nihi, the lower Dargas. That's the whole class, the three. Chabad's in the Chagas is in the knees, the head's between the knees. Like an Uber b'me'imah, it's Matzav of Golas, it's the whole Maimah began. And somehow it's connected to the Darga Moshe Rabbeinu, which is a Darga Achi Nailis. So I have to understand them. We're talking Golas, Echsonon, Moshe as a Maila. How do the two work? That's this whole thing is to explain. How in the Chsoron is the biggest Maila. So that's what we're up to. So we're up to a beautiful moshel. So Shaili again, how's it possible? Tzarich l'havin, that's the stuff from Tzarich l'havin. Again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the top. One word in. What has it? How could there be a mile in the Ifanim? The Rabbi is only need Netzach you say that the song Bittel Haidah. Netzach just means get the job done. Netzach you say it means get the job done. It's not about understanding and feeling. So how could they possibly touch deeper? And they're not like the Srafim that they have a Chagas and Chabad. He starts with Chagas because the Ikar Avodah is Taken. The Midas. But the Midas are engendered through understanding. So he puts Chagas first and then Chabad. The Avodah is Vehafta, is the Avodah of Av. And there used to be Av or Shuzel or Zel Haktish Liyotzra. The Kivin Shavedis Astrafim Ba'av Kadish Beyesh. It's how the girl has so good because the Avodah is like indeed, on the one hand, it's passionate, fiery, consuming, and it comes as a result of the deep understanding. Again, what are they understanding? Understanding the truth of the Eibush and their own absolute bittul, which is why they burn up in their understanding. But still, Ariya bittul shalemu bittul shemitzad asog. There's bittles in general because they understand. Therefore, the bittul is obviously is commensurate to their understanding. At the end of the day, if a nivra is understanding, it's limited. Even an angel. They are something, they're serafim, they have a title. They have a name, a description, a very elaborate description. So this indeed is the mali of the Ifanim Lagavi Asarafim. The bittul is not because they understand. Therefore, it's a true bittul. So their question is, if you don't understand, what kind of bittul could you possibly have? If you have no appreciation, what kind of bittul? Not that, but the more you understand, the more you can be the truth, the mila, the godless, the emes, the amitius, the velikus, the more you'll be in this battle. And now he makes this extraordinary statement. It's not mitzad hasoga, so how could it even be a bittul? He answers the beautiful moshel. V'yuven apiyam moshel. Hasoga does not mean awareness. It doesn't mean you don't have awareness. What does it mean? He explains now. V'yuven apiyam moshel mitalmud shemizbatel ifnei rabbi mishapche. You have a Talmud that's completely nullified to his master, and he praises it. This is a Talmud that understands and appreciates. Eichus means what? The quality, and the substance, for oimek and the depth. Don't ask me to define these three terms. We could try, but let's go further. So the quality, the substance, and the depth of Askolas Rabbi, of his master's teachings. It's not just a shir. It means the whole Askola, his whole Ravs, the mind of the Rav. He appreciates that. Misbattle fond of, and he's completely in awe of his master. So still, ain't bituli elefi erech tzimtzem asagose be'mikdas rabbi b'levad. So his whole bittul is commensurate in accordance with the limitation of his intellect in grasping the depth of his Rav, which is very great. Obviously, he's a wonderful disciple, but it's limited to his disciples' grasp. But then the same student, which he thought, in other words, he got a handle and he understands his master. But then he sees that the teacher is now expressing something, a concept that is so lofty, that's completely beyond him. We can't even praise this. There's no language for this. So in other words, because he has an understanding, because he appreciates the world of understanding. What does understanding mean? Understanding means it's the only way we can connect to something outside of us. Be'emes, objectively, to some degree. Emotionally, emotions are affect the way something affects me. The seichel, I can approach something as it is. So the Ifanim have seichel. Then the Ifanim appreciate that whatever haskalah they have, it's and the appreciation they have, it's of the truth of Elikos, and their bittul, it's totally beyond that. This is the Talmud, the Moshe of the Talmud is who's now confronting a seichel from his beloved Rav that's totally beyond him. Till now he could praise him and define his teacher and define the teachings. Now he can't say anything about the teachings. The first years it comes out, no, he will tell you a whole thing, how beautiful and how profound to describe the master's mind, as it were, that produced such an insight. The second shir that we're talking about here now, no, you can say, wow, that's all I can say. Beyond me, nothing to say. That's a true bittul. Is this clear?
Because he realizes that he's so much higher, he can't reach that level, then he has a bittul. And the other guy understands how.
No, it's the same Talmud. The same Talmud. The same Talmud. Level 1 of the teacher that he reveals, level 2 of the teacher. It's the same Talmud. It's the same Talmud. The teachers are revealing different things. The first Marshal, not Marshal, the first Oifen, where he can praise, this is the Serafim. Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh. That is when the master is revealing that which is profound and wonderful, but in the end graspable in some way. And the second one is when the master is revealing a concept that's completely beyond the Talmud. And he has no praise then to say. He can't describe it. It's totally beyond it. All he can say is, wow, this is it. Not even blew me away because I understood it. Just wow, just an awe. A more physical example. A student of physics, his first year's a lecture from before Einstein came along. The greatest physicist of the day. It's also mind-blowing, understanding the nature of physics. So he'll come out of the lecture with praise and excited, etc. The first time Einstein would have lectured on E equals mc squared, no one understood what he's talking about, other than this is totally beyond. That's the funny. Yeah? So I continue, as bituli betachlis ha'emes. It's a true bittul, the hainu bitlatz musa she'ene kulum lagabi yarav. Here's the nekuda. When the Talmud is privy to this revelation of seichel that's totally beyond him, then he realizes that he has absolutely no comparison. When the Rav says a very deep insight and he grasps it, so the Rav is much greater than me, but he's in the Rav's world. He's in the Rav's world. He's a great genius, but he's a disciple. They're a team. There's the master, there's the disciples. When the Rav says the higher Haskalah, he doesn't call him a disciple. What kind of disciple? Couldn't grasp anything. Complete bittul. He's completely, the partnership is dissolved in terms of the comparison. We're a team. We complement each other even. Or I compliment you, and you compliment me. Over. Complete bittul. That's the Ifanim. Mezeh muven bitle fan lagavi bitla serafim. Shekivin shebitle fan emeini mitzad hasaga shalahem. It's not because they understood. It doesn't mean they don't have understanding. They do have understanding. But the bittul is not mitzad the hasaga. How is a bittul amiti? It's a true bittul. We said we could add, we said before, so what's the bitl of the ifanim? It's thanks, it's acknowledgement. That's why it's round, vagilgol, and the what's the word? The rotation. Shalem. Like we explained, when a person surrenders to his friend, what does he do? He bows his head. That's his head between the knees, as it were. So we said there's no understanding. 1 second. Yeah, okay. So l'chuda I said before there is awareness, but we'll finish in a minute. But he's saying that the whole avodah is only what? Bowing the head. And therefore, it's chitzoni, because if it's not internalized from understanding, it's external. It's not a bittul pnimi like moichin and midas. So if that's what it is, based on what we said before, we haven't understood the mile of the ifanim. So it's very easy. An idiot savant sits at the class, doesn't understand anything, and he goes, wow, and he's bottled. That's a bittul. What kind of bittul is that? If it's only hidah. So the bittul of the srafim, that's a true bittul. You've appreciated it's pnimius, not externally. An internal bittul, because you've understood the mile of the Rav Seich. So l'chayder, back the other way, the bittul of the srafim is much truer. Is it a big kunst that someone that doesn't understand anything walks in and goes, wow, I didn't understand anything? That's a bittul. Therefore, God, the bittul srafim is higher. Because they understand therefore it's a bittul pnimi. They're not just bowing their head. Their whole metzius is bowed. Not externally, just you bow your head, you walk out, you're the same person. What's the difference? If you didn't understand anything, you walked into this lecture, well, beyond me, you bow your head, you acknowledge it's beyond me, you walk out to the same person. But if you understood the lecture and internalize it, and it's the greatness of it, you walk out, you carry it with you. You understood it as you walk away. The pnimius, you're changed. You're changed because you've understood something. You're not changed if you just surrender. You're not changed. While you're there, okay, you walk out. So l'chayda funny if it's all just surrender. What kind of bittul is this? It's external. Nonetheless, so it can be part of the question. Therefore, their bittul is not, or the bittul of the sraf is not just bowing the head. It's an internalized bittul. They bow, they prostrate. They burnt up. The metzius is burnt up. They find him don't burn up. They find him stay the same wheels going round and round again. Same thing. But the srafim burn up. They also can't see burnt up. It's also constant. The whole lachere kol avodah srafim they find him is still boring. Ultimately, it's predictable. The timing is dafka with us. They have no choice. The srafim has no choice to be a sraf and not an oifen. We're only learning about it because they're models for us in our avodah. And when we employ this avodah, that's something. That's the Ibish says tainuk. But now the shaila is if their bittul is just haidon nehi. So what kind of bittul is this? Still, the Rebbe insists. Given shabit leisrafim mitzad hasaga l'shem, since the bittul is because their hasaga, harigam kish mizbat mitzias ain't the bittul amiti. Still, it's the mile of the Ifanim, and that is that this bittul of the Srafim is not absolute because it's all based on I understand, so you can't lose that. If it's because I understand your greatness, the I is going to be always present. You can't lose that. Davke bittul Ifanim sheni mitzad hasoga, because of the Ifanim, that there's not I understand you. True, it's just surrendering the head. The bittul is amiti. Now the fact is, we don't just say the praise of the Ifanim, we say the praise of the Srafim. We need to have both avodas. Really, it's tachten, really, in a way. Got to fuse the two, understand, and the true, and the bittul of the Ifanim. But let's go further. They're called Ifani HaKodesh, that of Vav, Shabitl Shalem, B'chinas Bitl, the Chochma, Shnikras Kodesh. So their bitl is the bitl of Chochma, which is called Kodesh. Chochma is called Kodesh. Shinyon Amitis HaBitl. That's the true bitl. Mashekin Asrafim Shemim Kodesh with a Vav. The Kivin Shabitl Shalem, Mitzad HaSoga in the bitl Amiti, because it's all intellectual, it's not absolute. Therefore, they understand that godliness is distant, Vavdola, Kodesh, and Movdamehem. Where is God to be found? Say the Srafim. Okay, this will give us some material today in the Lord to daven today. Sorry? What do they understand? The world is filled with this glory. Where is he found? We don't access him. But where is he? Lamata, in Torah. She's saying in Akovid, that's his glory. What's Kavod? Begematri Lamed Beis. Kovid is Begematri 32. Yeah, added up 20 and 2 and 6 and 4. What's 32? Lamed Beis, it's from Lamed Beis Netzivas HaChochma, the 32 paths of Chochma is found in Sefer Yitzirah. Where do you get number 32 from? It is the 22 letters and the 10 sfiras. It's 32. At any rate, so they're saying, the Srafim are saying, we can't connect, but we know that where's the Eibishter Molech Ha'oretz Kvoidai, that Kvoidai covered through the Lamed Beis Nesivas Chochma, which is Torah, where is that given? Lamata. So envious, as it were, of the Yid, it's only Lamata. What are the Ifanim saying? So they say, draw down, go also Kvedavai. They're not saying Kodesh, they're saying they're drawing, they're connecting to it. For him, the Eibishter is not removed. The Beifin Shalam Shocha, Baruch drawn. From his place, here brings it, from his place, from his Shoresh. So we have to understand a little bit. So what's going on? So what's the end of Mile of the Ifanim? The Ifanim are like, again, the fool that comes in, or the child, or the doesn't understand anything, and therefore he's in awe. Is that the Ifanim? No. So Ifanim are in the Kedusha, in the Eilam HaYitzirah. It's interesting. I just want you to think about it, to stop here. What exactly is the bitl of the Ifanim? What's the relationship to appreciation, to understanding? Zero? Idiot savants, that expression? Obviously not. Each one will think about it, all right? I mean, if you understand nothing, you say, you bow your head and say, and then doesn't affect you, nothing. It's beyond you. There's no bitl. There is a bitl there, but it's not, there's no quality to it whatsoever.
Because they don't understand as much as the sun.
If it's a bitl, you have no clue what's going on. That's not a real bitl either. So what exactly is the bittul of the Ifanim? It's not the Serafim. It's not being a total fool either. We didn't do the story. Okay, doesn't matter. We're learning late. Morning.